Hi guys, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be predicting the scores of week 30 of the 2019-2020 Premier League season. Now, as always, before we have a look at this week, let's have a quick look back at how well we got on in week 29.
So in week 29 I had a disaster of a week. I had only 3 points with no perfect results.
And I came away a lot better than I did in week 28, which was an absolute disaster for me. But last week I came away with 9 points, 2 perfect scores. The Sheff Utd versus Norwich 1-0 victory, and a draw of a 1-1 draw between Burnley and Spurs. Representing the viewers last week was Ritz Ritish, and Ritz Ritish came away with 4 points. So thank you for submitting your predictions, Ritz Ritish. So overall now, Nathan, you are on 199 points for the season. I'm on 208 points, and the viewers are currently in third place on 182 points. Top scorer for week 29 though was Hassan Ali, and Hassan Ali, who's a regular contributor in the comment section, came away with a magnificent score of 12 points.
Very good.
Congratulations, Hassan, there. There was one match supposed to take place this evening at the time of recording, Manchester City versus Arsenal, but of course that game has been called off due to, I think it was the chairman of Nottingham Forest meeting with the Arsenal players in their clash last week, was it? Yeah. I think it was for Olympiacos. So I know that a couple of Arsenal players, or a few of them, have been put inside self-isolation, but their game against Brighton at the moment on the weekend is going ahead as planned. But enough of that. We may come on to that, a little bit later, but for now I think we should move on and make some predictions.
Okay, so first up we have the 12:30 kick-off between Watford and Leicester on Saturday. Now, Watford's 17th position, 1 win in their last 6, losing again last time around. Bit of a shock after the Liverpool win to Crystal Palace. Many people didn't expect that, everyone thought they'd build upon it, but I didn't really expect that to be the case. I thought it would end up being a draw. Leicester dismantling Villa, who are absolutely awful at the moment.
A bit of a calendar, aren't they, their defence?
Well, massively, like the Fulham of this year. So really expected Leicester to come away with that one, but Leicester have been patchy recently, but I think they're going to start to pick up a form again now, and then try and make sure that they retain that third place for Champions League. So I'm going to say 2-1, Vardy getting back on the score sheet, which is good for him.
Yeah, well, Vardy did indeed score 2 goals coming off the bench early this week against Aston Villa. Scored those 2 goals, and Harvey Barnes collecting a brace as well. Watford, as you just mentioned, superb victory against Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. Narrowly defeated against Crystal Palace, but Watford did have their chances. Maybe the Delafeu not playing, is injured at the moment, possibly lacking a little bit of creativity there. But I'm actually going to go for a victory to Watford in this one. I know Leicester had a good victory earlier in the week, but I think Watford at home, strong. Leicester not winning away from home since the 1st of January as well. So yeah, I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory to the Hornets in this one.
Interesting.
The first of the 3 o'clock kick-off sees Bournemouth at home against Crystal Palace. A very tough fixture to predict this one. Bournemouth, even though they find themselves in 18th position at the moment, without a victory in their last 4 matches, losing 3 of those last 4 matches as well. They haven't actually lost at home since Christmas Day. A lot of draws in there with some victories as well. Palace, I think they've won their last 3 matches, but I think that little sort of run is going to come to an end. I think I fancy the Cherries in this one. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory at home. Callum Wilson's in form, scored away against Liverpool last time out, so I'm actually going to go for a little bit of a shock in this one. 2-1 to Bournemouth.
Well, our run's going to end, and unfortunately it's going to be Bournemouth's undefeated run at home. I reckon Palace will win this one 2-1. Just with the way they've been playing recently, they really have impressed me as well.
Resolute.
Yeah, Callum Wilson will score, that's why I think it'll be 2-1, but it's just not going to be enough for Bournemouth. Their run's going to come to an end, so 2-1, cementing them a little bit in the relegation places there. Next up we have Brighton versus Arsenal. Now, Brighton sort of dropping like a stone. 4 draws in the last 6 matches. Can't even remember the last time they won. But Arsenal won their last 3, undefeated in about 7 now, I believe, or something like that.
They haven't lost this calendar year as well.
Haven't lost this calendar year, doing really well. That's going to continue. It's not going to be high scoring. And Arsenal will finally, to my surprise, keep a clean sheet somehow, I reckon. 1-0.
Yeah,
to Arsenal.
I think this match this evening, postponed against Man City, will probably benefit Arsenal quite well. They'll have a little bit more of a rest. Interestingly, it's Arsenal haven't actually won away in the Premier League since the 9th of December, so going away to Brighton as well, who very strong at home, although the Brighton haven't actually won in the league since the 28th of December themselves. So something's got to give here. Everything points to a draw, which I know that Brighton seem to be doing a lot recently at home. However, Arsenal, I think they've just got a little bit too much quality for them. They've won 3 on the bounce now, Arsenal, albeit all those matches at home. So I'm actually going to go for an away victory to Arsenal in this one. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to the Gunners. Next up, we've got Manchester City against Burnley, and Man City performance against Manchester United in the last fixture was, from a Man City point of view, not good enough.
Ederson was dreadful.
Yeah, not the best at all, especially against their rivals, their Manchester rivals.
It was like they've gone back to the years when Bravo was in goal, basically playing without a goalkeeper.
Superb, yeah, and Burnley haven't lost in the last 6 matches,
winning
3 of those last six matches as well. Last 2 matches have been draws against Tottenham and Newcastle. I think Manchester City are going to have to bounce back in this one. Rested this evening, nothing in midweek after that cancellation of the match, and I think they're just going to sneak through this one. They're going to have to have a response after that Manchester humiliation, you could say. And I'm going to go for a narrow victory to the Sky Blues in this one, and I'm going to go for all the citizens, you could call them. 2-1 to the home side.
I'm actually going to go for 2-0 to the to Man City. When Man City lose, they usually reply with a big-ish victory.
Bounce
back. Usually with a clean sheet as well, so I'm going to say 2-0 here. Next, we've got Newcastle versus Sheffield United. Sheffield United is staying solid in 7th. Won their last match against Norwich. Good victory, that was 1-0. And have only lost once in the last 6 matches, but that was to Man City, which is sort of expected there. Newcastle getting a good away victory against Southampton last time, really good. And apart from that, I've only lost 2 in the last 6 as well, so picking up form as well, Newcastle. And saying that, really, I'd say, unless something disastrous happens, Newcastle are pretty much safe now anyway. But really tough one to predict. Can't see any shocks here since both teams like to shock a lot. So 1-1 for me.
Yeah, difficult one to predict. However, I'm going to favour the away side in this one. Sheffield United have impressed me so much this season. Currently lying in 7th position, as you said, 1 defeat in their last 6 fixtures. Jonjo Shelvey for Newcastle last week, absolutely amazing, some of his passing in that one, and that could undo or could unlock the Blades' rear guard. However, I think they're going to keep a clean sheet up there at St James's Park, the Blades, and I'm going to go, as I said, a 1-0 victory for Sheffield United. Next up, we got Norwich at home against Southampton. Southampton now losing 5 of their last 7 matches. Norwich, as we've said in previous videos, they look defensively more sound. At home, they really need this victory. This is probably one of the matches that they're going to have to pick up. They're only now, they're 6 points off Watford and Bournemouth there and West Ham. So this one is a must-win now, coming to the end of the season. I'm actually going to see that Norwich are going to pull away with a victory in this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 home win.
Interesting. I'm actually going to say a 1-0 away win to Southampton. I reckon Haas will just to make sure that Southampton are pretty much safe now, but they really need to turn around fortunes in case they absolutely bomb. And the likes of Brighton, Bournemouth and all those catch up.
I reckon they need probably another 2 victories and maybe a draw, Southampton.
I'd say minimum get to 40 points, so another 6, maybe 2 wins, I reckon.
Yeah,
so
2 wins,
I'm going to say, 1-0 Southampton. They're going to they'll get another 3 points, which is one step closer to staying up. But anyway, moving on, next up we've got Aston Villa versus Chelsea, 5:30 on Saturday. Villa looking absolutely awful at the moment, whereas Chelsea, patchy form, although they got an excellent 4-0 victory last week to Everton. Many people did not expect that. Everyone thought it would be 2-2 or Everton maybe sneaking away with Ancelotti and stuff because of how well they've been playing recently. But yeah, no one expected 4-0, but Chelsea, I reckon they might struggle a little bit at Villa. because when they play well one week, they usually crash the next. But I reckon they'll edge past. It's going to be 2-1 with Dean Smith getting sacked.
Really?
Yeah, saying it now. Dean
Really?
Smith's getting sacked after this match.
After everything he's done for them, yeah?
After everything he's done with them, I read something today that if he loses this weekend, then he's getting sacked. So
we'll see about that.
I'm going to say Dean Smith getting sacked.
Players really need to play from this weekend.
Yeah,
if that is the case. Of course, this match is taking place at 5:30 on Saturday evening. Tuck in with your tea, or if you're in the pub, coming away from another match as well.
That's if the pubs stay open.
That's right, yes.
It doesn't get any worse.
You know, gatherings and all that sort of thing frowned upon a little at the moment. So, yeah, Chelsea away, superb victory at home against Everton, who was on a tremendous run last time out, who'd been on a tremendous run. So, Villa, even though they played well in that Carabao Cup final, they can't buy a win at the moment.
Oh no.
1 win in their last 6 fixtures. So I think it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Alonso getting amongst the goals recently. Mason Mount returning with a goal. William, superb strikes. Pedro as well, getting in amongst the goals. And Giroud, our old friend Mr. Giroud, scoring goals as well. So I'm going to go for an away victory to the Blues in this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-0 scoreline. Next up, we've got the first of the Sunday matches, and that's between West Ham at Wolves. This kicks off at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. Now, West Ham doing quite well against Arsenal. However, Arsenal ground out that victory in the end at the Emirates Stadium. West Ham do seem to be playing quite well at the moment. Okay, they lost last week, but prior to that, they did get that victory, important victory over Southampton, and they find themselves in 16th position, out of the drop zone, just on the number of goals they've scored, I believe. They're on minus 15, scored 35 goals, but let in an astonishing 50 goals in 29 matches.
Very leaky.
Yeah. Playing Wolves. Now, Wolves last weekend being held 0-0 at home against Brighton. So, Wolves tomorrow are playing in the Europa League, even though Wolves have kicked up a massive fuss about this.
Rightfully.
I think they're playing at Olympiacos. Olympiacos away. So I think it's behind closed doors.
It is.
As well. So, they didn't want to play it, especially with, I think it's the Olympiacos owner, the Nottingham Forest owner as well.
Yeah, he owns both.
Yeah, so you can feel a little bit for Wolves there. They got a journey out to Greece, to Athens. What's the district Olympiacos play in?
Piraeus.
Piraeus, that's right, a part of Athens. Yeah, West Ham at home against Wolves. Wolves are going to be journeying back. West Ham tails up slightly, you could say, really need the points. However, the resolute defence from Wolves, I think, are going to stand firm. They will concede, but West Ham will concede as well. And I can see this one ending up in a score draw of 1-1. And Traore is probably going to be out again with this shoulder injury that he suffered over the season. I think he's dislocated it something like 3 times. So that's bad news for the lad there.
I'm actually going to disagree with you a little bit because Wolves have really been impressing me recently, watching some of their games and stuff, trying to grind out results, but they do like to draw a lot. But with this one, I'm not sure. I just think they're going to be too strong for West Ham, even though West Ham have been impressing me since Jarrod Bowen's come in.
Yeah, true.
Really good against Southampton that one game. But I just think Wolves will be too strong. Jimenez probably getting amongst the goals, so 2-0 Wolves.
And Jota's on fire as well.
Jota is on fire. Next up, we've got really difficult ones to predict. Tottenham v Man United. Tottenham out of the Champions League last night, losing to RB Leipzig. Hammered, yeah, absolutely destroyed. Didn't look good at all either, probably because of the amount of injuries they've had. Man United starting to pick up a lot. How is Ollie doing this? I think it's just Bruno Fernandes.
He's transformed them, hasn't he?
He has massively transformed them. It's nothing to do with Ollie, in my opinion. And that's why I'm going to say Man United are going to win this one 2-0. Not because Man United are good, but because of how much Tottenham are struggling at the moment. So 2-0. Yeah, tough one to call. You could say this, although Jose, you could say, has lost his touch a little bit recently. Last 3 matches, losing 2 and drawing 1. And prior to that, they were picking up some victories. However, Tottenham just being destroyed last night, as you've said already, against Leipzig. Man United travelling to Austria, I believe, tomorrow in the Europa League against Lask. Also behind closed doors as well. That one's behind closed doors, so I'm not sure if any Man United fans will be travelling to that one. I
I think Man United fine form at the moment. Bruno Fernandes gets all the plaudits at the moment, but they're playing really well defensively, doing well. Wan-Bissaka's looking immense,
looking good
at the moment as well. So I'm going to go for a narrow away win in this one. I'm going to go for a Red Devils 1-0 victory. And finally, the last fixture of the weekend, week 30. This takes place on Monday evening at 8 o'clock, and it's the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park between Everton and Liverpool, of course. Now, Everton haven't actually won a Merseyside derby in the league since, or in any competition, I think since 2010. I believe it's that long. It's a really long time. So I can't see them winning this one. Liverpool's tails are up.
6 more points if Man City lose.
I can't see anything other than a Liverpool victory in this one, although Everton at home, very, very strong. They got a terrible... They want to get that defeat against Chelsea out of their system, but I don't think they'll do it in this one. I think they'll play a lot better, and they will cause Liverpool all sorts of problems, but ultimately Liverpool will win this one, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to the Reds.
I'm going to go for a narrow 3-2. I think it's going to be 2-2 for most of it. Everton are going to be really up for this one, especially against their rivals, to try and stop them, because just in case Man City lose this weekend, even though it's highly unlikely against Burnley, just to make sure that Liverpool do not win the Premier League, well, technically for the first time at Goodison, even though football wasn't invented in 1992, but I think Liverpool will just edge it in the end, and I think it'll be 3-2 to the Reds.
Superb. So that concludes our predictions for week 30 of this, the 2019-2020 Premier League season. As always, I'm going to leave a template of these fixtures in the description. All you need to do to play at home is copy and paste them into your comment, and like Hassan Ali, you could get a shout out in the next video if you are the top scorer. Also, on Friday evening, I'm going to be picking somebody at random to represent you guys, the viewers in our little league, which at the moment I'm winning. Nathan's second, and you guys are first. So a little bit of catching up to do this weekend. Hopefully you will be able to close the gap a little bit. And I'm hoping after this weekend, Nathan, that matches are going to go ahead, because at the moment, I think the Premier League are taking advice from the government, or they're saying, well, everything goes ahead as normal apart from that fixture this evening. So at the moment, everything is going ahead this weekend. If things start to deteriorate, which they look like they are, then we could see games go behind closed doors.
Which the EFL, which is if you don't already know, is for some viewers probably from abroad, is the Championship and below, so the leagues below the Premier League. They do not want games behind closed doors. They'd rather it suspended and played later.
It's going to mash their revenue up big style, but
they've been bickering with the FA about it, and the Premier League want other stuff and all that. So
we've seen their matches in Italy behind closed doors, and now their season has been suspended. In Spain they're playing behind closed doors, and I think there's
and France as well.
In France as well, have they actually suspended matches, or are they?
It's just behind closed doors in France.
So I can see that coming to the UK in the next couple of weeks, and then of course we're into an international break with the likes of we're supposed to be going to Wales, USA, and there's also Wales against Austria and Swansea as well. Just keep your eyes on the news. Hopefully everything will go ahead this weekend. So apart from that, Nathan, is there anything you'd like to add about the coronavirus or football in general?
Don't think so. At the moment, it's not really affected Wales that much. It's only, we've had a few cases, but it's all been Pembrokeshire.
We've had some in Cardiff, Newport, Swansea, Neath, Port Talbot as well. So
the bulk is Pembrokeshire, but nothing in our area at all. So we should be all right.
At the moment,
I know 2 people who have been tested, but I know one's come back negative. I need to check with the other person I know, see if they're also negative as well. So
hopefully they will be. But and this weekend on Sunday we're going to be going to the Cardiff versus top of the table Leeds United at the Cardiff City Stadium. And the viewers are asking, are you going to be vlogging?
Of course I will. That'll probably be out Sunday night, because is it a midday kickoff?
So 12:30 I think.
Yeah, that'll be up Sunday night then.
Excellent. Okay then guys, thanks for watching as always. Remember to leave a like. Let's try and get 5 likes this week, and we'll see you in the next video.
5 likes?